Scream is back with its latest installment in the long-running franchise, so let's see if this sixth film is worth your time. Hey everybody, my name's Justin here. I try to watch everything that hits theaters and on streaming services. If you guys are like me, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below and click that bell notification for more up and coming content. Four survivors of the Ghostface murders leave Woodsboro behind for a fresh start in New York City. However, they soon find themselves in a fight for their lives when a new killer embarks on a bloody rampage. I finally came to the conclusion that I absolutely love the Scream franchise. It is one of my favorite horror franchise. Each film is solid. Even at its worst, it is still entertaining. And the sixth film is another bloody, ruthless film in this franchise. This is a bit of a shakeup for what you expect from the Scream films. The setting of Woodsboro and the high school and the college and all of that was very known to the Scream franchise. People associated Woodsboro with the Scream movies. Now it takes place in New York City, so we get the first chance at a new setting, and it really does work, having a kind of fresh take on it with a bunch of new characters. We have our continuing characters from the fifth film. Now they call themselves the Core Four. We have the twins in here, and then we also have Tara and Sam. They're dealing with what had happened to them with the two Ghostface killers, and now they're just looking for a fresh start, going to school, trying to live their lives. But Sam is still struggling with what had happened to her. She wants to protect her sister. Her sister, Tara, played by Jenna Ortega, feels like, you need to take a little bit of a step back, let me live my life. But she still feels like there's some sort of connection to her father, Billy Loomis, within the movie. The film perfectly explores this relationship, and when you have a sister that is overbearing and trying to protect her younger sister, and then the younger sister, very typical of, let me live my life in college, I want to hook up with people, I want to have fun. That relationship is perfectly examined throughout the film, as they do struggle to have this relationship, but it's coming from good intentions from Sam, as she just wants to protect her sister. And they have a lot to do in here. If it would be okay if some of the original cast members did not return. We didn't have Sidney Prescott in here. Gale Weathers returns for the film, but they have such good development and they are likable characters that I could see them continuing this franchise down the road. So there's enough time given to this core four group of characters to where you like them, and they are taking on that new mantle, making themselves known within the Scream franchise, moving these films forward. The core four does contribute a lot to some of that meta talk. Now we are moving into franchises and the legacy characters, and no character is safe. The Scream films have always been so meta. This one is a little less meta, but there is still a lot of conversations coming from Mindy about franchises and legacy characters and sequels and requels and all of that. There's a good discussion when you look at, oh, this person probably is the suspect, or it could be this person, so we're going to stay alert because you weren't here when Ghostface was here killing people, so immediately you're going to be at the top of our list. Now, speaking of returning characters, we also have Hayden Panettiere in here, and I really like her character in here. You see the events that happened in the fourth film have affected her life. Now she is trying to step up and protect people from Ghostface, and so I really like her introduction into this film, but also her involvement as well alongside Gale Weathers. Courtney Cox is a really good actress, and her character Gale Weathers in here, probably one of the best moments for her in the whole entire franchise. She understands the killer motives and the predictable moments from Ghostface, and it's so cool to see her within here. Now, I can safely say that this is probably the most gruesome Scream film. There is kills coming left and right, and there are some very creative kills and some ones that even made me kind of squirm, and I've never really felt that with the previous Scream films. They were bloody, but they just really didn't affect me. This time around, some of the kills just made me kind of shake a little bit, but it definitely is ruthless. The killer in here feels very intense. There is no holding back from some of these kills. What the Ghostface killer does to the victims within here. There is so much blood in here. There is so many kills. It adds to those thrilling sequences. There are long scenes of people trying to protect themselves and Ghostface trying to break into a room. So on a gory level, it's definitely at the top. Now, Scream 6 isn't perfect. It isn't the best film in the franchise. There is a certain part of this film, a certain aspect to it, where you start to not believe everything that is happening. These characters are being stabbed left and right, just repeatedly stabbed, and somehow they make it out alive, or they're in the next scene. And when you look at some of the other characters that have died, some of the Ghostface killers, and they've been stabbed and they're dead. It's just, it's hard to believe a character's moment of them being stabbed, and the score adding those intense scenes and the characters reacting and they're all emotional, and you think that this character is dead. And I really like that character. But they just walk around in the next scene and they survive. So it's really hard to look at some of these moments of Ghostface killing people and not think that that person's alive and going to return in this film or the next film. So it's starting to get to a point where it was a little bit ridiculous, because it happened quite often to some of the main characters. You have to suspend disbelief within here, but I mean, come on. At least kill off a couple of them. Now, there are several new characters, and each new character you have to kind of wonder who they are and how did they meet this core four and what is their purpose within here. One new character that I kept wanting to... One character that was introduced in here, I didn't want to be the killer, and I didn't want to die, and his name is Danny. I really like this character. I was rooting for him. I didn't want him to be the killer. He was so likable, and his kind of brief appearances, he just added a lot to the film. We also have Samara Weaving in here as well. And Jack Champion, who played Spider in Avatar 2, The Way of Water, is also in here. And so each character, the core four, looks at and say, you're at the top of my list because I really don't know you, and that's just kind of how it has to be. And each character in here, you feel like they could be the killer. And that's what's so good about the Scream films, is that the characters' introductions, what they do throughout the film, how kind of creepy they are and suspicious at times, they could be the killer. And they do that so well in this film, is that there's so many new characters, so many chances for this person or this person to be the killer. And there are some really surprising moments at the end that I really did not see coming. If you can surprise me in a Scream film, I view that as successful. Most of the Scream films, the killer reveal, I did find to be surprising. And I didn't really see this one coming. You know, some parts of it I did, but for the most part, a lot of it was shocking. So Scream 6, I really liked it. Brutal kills in here, a really sinister Ghostface that just plowed through these characters and tore down rooms and just destroyed a lot of things. You really felt this Ghostface presence within here, and how urgent everything was. The use of New York City worked in a couple scenes, but for the most part, they really limited it to like the rooms and whatnot. But they really didn't explore the Big Apple the way that the posters and trailers made it out to be. The characters are really good. The new characters are interesting. The core four is perfectly explored in here to where they could carry this franchise into further films. This is another great entry in one of my favorite franchises. I really appreciate these movies. I could easily watch them, even though the joy of watching them is seeing these character reveals, but they still have a lot of entertainment value, and you can easily rewatch watch them and appreciate everything about these movies. If you are a fan of this franchise, I think you will love this movie. It understands what franchises need to do, and returning characters can die, and new characters can die as well. Anybody's game in here. Anybody can be killed or be the killer within here. So before I give you my score for Scream 6, make sure to check out my channel. Here I do movie reviews, trailer actions, ranking videos, tier lists, all that fun movie related content that you see on YouTube. I do it all here, so hit that subscribe button and get it all in one spot. And if you can see where Scream 6 ranks amongst all the other 2023 releases I've seen this year, follow me on Letterboxd and there you can find my ranking. I'm going to go ahead and give Scream 6 a B+. Thank you guys for checking my review for Scream 6, the latest Scream film. Have you guys seen it by chance? What do you think about it? Let me know in the comment section down below, and stay tuned for more up and coming content like this. My name is Justin Watches Movies, and you guys stay classy, YouTube.